as beauty as well is known for, and we're more of a specialised salon now, so we specialise in anti-aging skincare, advanced skincare, and that's really mainly our sort of client base doing those sorts of treatments now.
Yeah, so it's not a traditional beauty salon, is it, as people might imagine it to be?
Yeah, we started. It's funny because I'm just co-writing in a book, and I've just done a chapter on this situation where I'm going back to where I started in 2002, and I've almost gone full circle. So I started a specialised skin salon and advanced treatments in 2002 because that was advanced skincare was my passion, and then over the years I gradually merged into hairdressing. And I had a hairdressing salon as well as the beauty salon, and then eventually, that's my cat, sorry. And then eventually, then it came back full circle to where we are now. So we've almost gone full circle back to doing those specialised skin treatments and advanced treatments, results-driven treatments, really.
Yeah, it's really, I think it's really interesting because not a lot of salons actually offer the variety of treatments that you offer, do they? I mean, what's your most popular treatment that people go for?
So we do Environ, which is a vitamin A based product. So it's results, you get results. It's not just a topical product, it penetrates deeper down. So we do a lot of those facials, which are electrical facials. We do a lot of wrinkle lines and wrinkle treatments. So plumping the collagen, working on rebuilding collagen fibers. We do HIFU ultrasound facelifts, which are sort of quite premium treatments. But we do the full spectrum of beauty, but our main treatment profile is the more specialized ones.
Yeah, I think it's great. So as I've just said, we're here to talk really about how you have traded through the pandemic. So this time last year and a week now, I think it's just about a week, we were all hit with the news that we were going into lockdown, which was an absolute shock to all of our systems, because I don't think any of us actually really believed it would come. What were your initial thoughts when that news struck?
So it's funny because a couple of weeks before, about 3 weeks before, someone had spoken to me and they'd said, we're heading for a 16-week lockdown. And I actually was like, I can't believe this. I'm not, I just couldn't get my head around it. And I was thinking, well, what would I do with 16 weeks? I'm going to write a book, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do everything else. And then I just thought, oh, it's not happening. Nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden, the week before we closed, it was just awful because we implemented so many different protocols in order to be, professional in terms of the COVID, and adapt lots of different safety measures in that whole time. And the whole week just spun around so quickly. And as time ticked on, we got 1 week left of our quarterly target, and we were just so on target to do so well and hit the target and smash it. And then as this week started towards the 23rd, started to get over, it started to think, oh, we're going to have to start pulling people in, we're going to have to close early. And so we had it in our head we were going to end up closing, but we weren't going to close. We were trying to pull everybody forward so we could just pull that last week in so everybody could get done. And then on the Sunday night, I just made the decision before they said we were going into the lockdown on Monday that we were just going into the lockdown, and that was it. So I ended up cancelling everybody, and it was just devastating. And I will be honest, and I sat and cried all bloody afternoon. Because I was just like, my business has been open for the best part of 20 years, and then to just shut it down, it was just so devastating. Yeah,
and nobody really knew. It was such an uncharted territory, wasn't it? We just didn't know how to experience that.
And I think it was the panic of the clients. It was also trying to contact everybody, making sure that they were cancelled. Everybody was kept safe. My staff were safe. The clients were safe. And it was the whole process then of having to go through our diary, because our diary is booked 6 months ahead. So we sort of had to cancel the initial clients, and then we left everybody in for the month after, because we weren't sure of when we were going to reopen. And that came and got cancelled, and then we left it in for the next one. Clients missed like a series of like monthly treatments, and we just left them in the diary just in case we may open. And it was quite sad, really.
Your
life for so long that you see every few weeks that you just don't want to see them again for a while.
No, and not at all, not even out and about, could you? We couldn't even
No.
do that. So with regard, how many staff have you got? Have you got quite a few staff?
There's 5 of us now.
5.
Yeah.
So how did you communicate to them what you were doing when it was so difficult to know what you were doing?
So, I mean, to be fair, we all work together daily together. One of my members of staff was on maternity, which I was very thankful for, that she was actually away, because she does have a low immune system, so she would have been high risk. So actually I was pleased that she was out of the equation, and she was on a maternity leave. But between us all, we were just trying to adapt everything as and when. And then when it came to us cancelling, I just cancelled everybody myself and just kept contact with everybody through messages, phone calls, just to sort of see how it was all going to pan out, really.
Yeah. It must have been difficult. I mean, it's great that you have such a good relationship with your staff, because I think that's what it's been all about for the people that I've been speaking to. If they have a great trusting relationship with their staff and keep in constant communication with them, that's all you could have done, isn't it, really? Because nobody knew. You couldn't say, oh, in a week, don't worry because I'll be back, or in a month, don't worry because we'll be open. You just didn't know that, did you?
And I think that was the thing, really. We were literally going into the unknown. We didn't know what was happening. I mean, for me, it was a case of cancelling all the clients, then going into the salon and closing the salon down, because we use very expensive machinery and equipment in our salon to do some of our treatments, and it was going and making sure that things had been done to put them into rest mode and sleep mode, so they wouldn't be, damaged throughout the lockdown. So it was a whole thing of making sure everything was closed down safely and securely, and not knowing when it was going to be reopened, really.
Scary times. So after the initial first lockdown, then it kind of, everything got to reopen a bit, didn't it? Slowly. What changes did you make in your business when you got to sort of open the doors again?
So with the close contact services, it was very turbulent, because they gave us a date that we were able to open to, and we worked towards that date. And there was something in the back of my mind that said we weren't going to open, which was working with the hairdressers. And then what happened then was they did say we weren't able to do that, so we had to go back and do it again, change everything again. But in terms of with the whole situation of getting back open, we were stop and start to begin with, because what happened then was they let us open and then they restricted our treatments. So they said we could do facial treatments, and we'd gone and booked everybody, and we'd spent a good day, all of us, on the phone trying to get everybody back to him. The one thing was good for us. We did have some clients that had already got their appointments we'd booked prior, so they were still sort of in the thread of their 6-monthly head appointment. So we sort of picked that up and then sort of shifted all the appointments from that, so that wasn't too bad. But then when they said to us, you can't do facial treatments, well, 80% of our work is facials. Gosh. So our whole diary collapsed overnight. Instead of opening up on our full hours, we only then started working probably 1 or 2 days. And so we weren't even on full capacity.
That must have been a really hard thing to juggle, not only with your customers and appointments, but with your staff as well. How did you manage to know who you needed in and when? And
so we absolutely worked on skeleton. We were very skeleton staff, because we maximised the flexi furlough and the furlough system, because some of our clients are of an older generation, and so we're very nervous to be out and about, so they weren't going to return straight away. So we almost came back on about 70% occupancy, but then obviously when we had the facial restrictions, that completely collapsed. So we had to really look into what our operation was going to be, and I made the decision to, rather than open over 5 days, to open over 4 days, and I actually am carrying that through now. And rather than spreading my overheads over 5 days, I'm doing it over 4 and doubling everybody in. So there's more, I'm maximising the space of the time that we've got. And because we are more specialised as well, we can get away with that. We haven't got people just dropping in for the nails or the eyebrows. And appointments. So we can ahead more.
You know what you're up against, don't you, every day?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I started Shop New York Online back end of last year, as you know, and you joined as a member right from the beginning. So thank you very much. That's great to have you on board. I know that we've spoken in the past about how you're not able to do any online sales because your business is so specialized. I mean, we sell gift vouchers for you on Shop New York Online, but there's no product sales that you can even sort of tick along with, are there, like some businesses?
No. And it's a funny one because I have been umming and ahhing about setting up my own online e-commerce shop, but
Yeah.
the challenge that we have with our products, because they are so specialized and because they have to be prescribed, because they're so result driven, the client can't just pick and choose what they want. So we have to authorize them to have that product, and so that's brought up challenges in terms of us having e-commerce on our side, and online facility. So a lot of our sales I have done in terms of just having all my clients on, they all know they can just pull the phone and say, can I have this,
Yeah.
and that's how I still continued. It was really important for us to continue our clients. We didn't want any interruption with our clients' home care. So
Yeah.
I all the way through all of the lockdowns, making sure my clients were kept, and they weren't sort of stale with what they were using. They were being, changed into things that were going to be suitable for them at that time. So
yeah, because you're familiar with their skin, aren't you? So you can advise them from a virtual way, I suppose, rather than new clients. You can't do that. Yeah. So, I mean, one of the questions that I always ask on Lockdown Life Live is about Christmas, because lots of retail businesses are seasonal, and a lot of people were really affected by the lockdown that fell over Christmas. Was that something that affected your business or not?
So it was funny because we went into tier 4 on the 30th of October. I had a turbulent week just before we went into the lockdown. I had 2 burglaries within 2 days.
Oh gosh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I had all of my Christmas stock stolen. So I had thousands of pounds worth of stock stolen. Plus I was left with trying to get doors and windows replaced, and dealing with the police. And that all happened around the Wednesday before the tier 4 came in, and I was frantically on the phone to another salon. We were trying to work out whether or not we were going to be going we were going to be closed on tier 4, and then we got news that was it, we were closing on the tier 4. So we shut, I think, on the 30th or the 29th of October. And actually, it was a blessing that they put us into the lockdown, because had we have just gone into tier 4, I don't think they'd have provided the financial support that we've got. So and also November for us is a bit of a flat month, because everybody sort of like, people sort of will, instead of going 4 weeks, they'll push to 6 weeks, because
to tide them over.
So for us, actually, it was a bit of a blessing, because it sort of gave us that bit of the lull period where we weren't, twiddling our thumbs, which we don't anyway. But it was just a case of it wasn't a bad month for us to lose. A good month. And November and February for us are historic bad months anyway. So it wasn't something particularly for us that was really bad.
Just fallen quite well as much as these things do. So how do you feel differently about, I mean, you've just said actually one of the changes that you're making going forward when you're changing your days, but how do you feel differently about how you run your business going forward?
I think now, I think it's a case of because the whole COVID situation, I think what COVID has actually done in terms of people with businesses, it's given a bit of control back into the business owner of how they want to operate their business, and it's given them a lot of confidence that they can operate the business the way they want to, because actually that's how things go now. We have to do it this way because that's what we've been doing, but actually this is the new way and this is how it's going to stay. And if you'd have asked me 2 years ago about reducing my hours, someone mentioned it to me years ago and I said, don't be silly, I will never reduce my hours, but actually it works for us now better than it would have done. So I think you have this sort of the opportunity to mold your business more the way you want it to go.
Yeah, I think it's given people a chance to take stock a little bit, hasn't it? It's forced, because I mean, I, as a business owner for a long time myself, you don't take a break. You go from one day to the next, and you're in it, aren't you? You're in this hamster wheel all the time. And actually, I think what this has done for a lot of business owners is given them that, forced them, I suppose, to sit back, have to have some time out and think, right, what do I do with my business? Can I change things? Am I going to, some of them have been forced changes, but some actually have been proactive changes that people have made just because they've had the time to think about that. Do you agree that that's how it's been for you?
Yeah, I think for us, I mean, we wouldn't have been able, we kept our sales for our products consistent all the way through, so clients weren't being interrupted, we weren't losing those sales for the products, but we wouldn't have been able to have done anything other to adapt our business, because obviously we're service based, but in terms of in the operations of my business, I very much now have changed quite a lot of the operations, in just streamlined a lot of things and made them more efficient and looked more on the business, because I think sometimes you can be in like say the hamster wheel and you're working in the business that you lose focus on working on the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What I did also is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. I started my own other business, which is
very exciting.
mergers and acquisitions. So
yeah,
wanting to build up a diverse portfolio of other businesses. So whether it be distressed or lifestyle change or retirement, I'm wanting to invest in other businesses as well. So I actually use that time to work on that, and I'm actually in the middle of an acquisition at the moment, and I've got another one that's wanting, that's sort of sitting on the side waiting to be looked at.
That's so great news, absolutely brilliant. Is that something that you've kind of had a little pipe dream for a while and you just go for it?
I've always wanted to, for many years, wanted to have quite a few businesses in my portfolio.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've really wanted to home in on, but I've not had the time. So I also do property developing, so that's also taken a lot of my time up, and obviously a lot of my work stopped because they couldn't get supplies last year, so it was halted. So I sort of had the time to, couldn't finish my property, but I could work on what I want to do with my other venture. So it's balanced itself out now. I spent a lot of last summer working on streamlining my own business in the salon. And then the second lockdown and the third lockdown, I spent a lot of the time working on my other venture. So I've had the time, and I'm quite grateful that I've been had that time to do that.
Like Superwoman, you are.
I know.
You run your beauty business, your mergers and acquisitions, and you've been writing a book, you just told me before.
Yeah, so it's a chapter. I've always wanted to write a book, and when that lady said to me about going into the 16-week lockdown, the first thing I said, I want to write a book. And it's amazing actually how 16 weeks.
Oh, I've lost your sound. Can you hear me?
Ladies, hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Co-writing with some other beauty professionals in a beauty book with like all of the challenges that beauty salons have faced.
Wow.
Owners. So yes, that's released I think on Amazon Kindle in June, and then Amazon as a hardback in July. So.
Oh my God, that's amazing. You have to keep us posted on that one for sure. We'll definitely be spreading the word. How exciting. Brilliant. Loads of things going on in your little life. So if you had to do the pandemic again, let's say we never have to do the pandemic again, but looking back on your businesses actually, would you have changed anything? If somebody said to you, right, we're doing it all over again, what would you do differently?
I don't, if I'm truthful, I worked so hard on my salon business last year that I actually have not really done that much now, because I just lifted everything that I'd done last year, getting ready for this year, opening in April. I don't feel I would have done anything differently with that. I feel quite confident and quite relaxed in the fact that I've done everything I need to do to get where I need to be, with everything that's setting up and everything's falling into place. The one thing I wish I had done is eat less.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I'm dreading going back to the gym and getting told off. So that's what I'm regretting.
You're not joining me on the code 90 then.
Well, I want to do that. I need to sort that out actually. I saw that Stephen had put something on, so I need to register.
Yeah, I know I wanted to do it until I got a reminder today that it wasn't very long away, and then I had a slight panic attack that it wasn't very far away till it actually starts. But
I've been doing boot camps. I've been doing Alison's boot camps 3 times a week. So
have you?
Yeah, I've not been doing them outside though, so I'm just
chilly.
That's what, because it was cold last year when we were doing it, wasn't it?
It was very cold last year, definitely.
Now Matt's across the field. Yeah.
So I was going to ask, how do you stay so positive? But I can tell you how you stay so positive, because you've just kept busy, haven't you, all the time, and you've fulfilled some of your dreams. And
I think for me, I'm very much a positive person in the fact that I see a bigger vision. So it's not the here and now necessarily, it's what is it ahead. So I'm very positive on the fact that I plan my whole years ahead of me, where I want to be at this time, what I want to do then. And that's one of the things I always put myself in uncomfortable positions so that I know that it's moving forward. And I think that is one of my, if you was to look in one of my books, it's got my 5-year plan, what's going to happen in the next 5 years. And I'm very much a believer, once you put something out there, it works its way to get to you. So that's really why I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had some days where I was just sat and thought, can't be bothered to do anything today. And that's probably this last lockdown, because everything has been put in place as best I can. There's been a case of where I've sat and thought, oh, I can't really be bothered to do anything today, but then the next day I've done twice as much. So it balances itself out, really.
And I think you obviously love what you do. You obviously love all of the aspects of your businesses. You can tell that by the way you talk about them. And I think when you love what you do, it's easier to keep your fire going, isn't it?
Yeah, if you've got a passion, I think it's very much it's that just keeps you going. And I think it's one of those things, and it boils down to planning, and if you're not happy with something and you don't do anything different, nothing different will change. And so you're responsible for your own future, and if you don't do anything to make it different, then it's not going to happen. And I'm very much, I have been in places before where I've sort of like sat there and thought, I don't know where I'm going, and it's only this last few years that I've put it in place where I want to be, and things are starting to fall into place and into line now. So that's
the master of your own destiny, that's what I like to say.
I do. I think absolutely. And I think you can really direct where you want to go if you plan your mind and your mindset, put it on paper, because if you put it on paper, you're accountable for it.
Yeah, great tip. Thank you very much. Well, it's been absolutely fascinating speaking to you tonight. Thank you for joining us. I wish you all the best with your reopening. Not long to go now.
Good luck to everybody else as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be absolutely a flurry of pedestrians walking around.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. I can't wait to get back out there, and let's hope the sunshine stays with us as well.
I know.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Catherine. You take care, won't you?
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks very much for everyone for listening to Lockdown Life Live. I will be back on Friday to announce the winner of the Easter competition. It's been absolutely crazy with entries, so if you want a chance to win this massive Easter prize even, then make sure you get your entries in before Friday. The winner will be drawn at random at 6 o'clock, and then I'll be back again on Sunday with more Shop Newark online news. Have a great week and enjoy the sunshine. Take care. Bye.